Welcome back to our channel where numismatic treasures and coin collecting legends come to life, and today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of one of the most astonishing coins ever to grace American currency, the 1972 South Lincoln 1-cent coin, a humble penny at first glance, but with a staggering value of $183 million due to the astonishing array of errors, rare characteristics, and compelling historical context that have turned it into a legendary artifact of American coinage. And if you've ever doubted the power of a single coin to alter the course of collecting history, this is your moment to see just how a tiny copper piece from San Francisco, weighing only 3.11 grams and bearing the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, could emerge as one of the most sensational and mystifying rarities in modern numismatics. And what elevates the 1972 South 1-cent from mere currency to multi-million-dollar status is not just its date or mint mark, but a series of complex minting anomalies, die varieties, and mysterious production oddities that have both baffled experts and thrilled collectors for decades, starting with the rare and dramatic double die obverse which, in the rarest examples, displays striking doubling in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1972, where clear separation between letters and digits can be seen with the naked eye, a feature normally found in the Philadelphia issue but bafflingly and incredibly rare in the San Francisco minted coins. And though official mint records show no deliberate production of such a variety at the S-Mint, at least one authenticated specimen has surfaced with what appears to be a dramatic double die obverse combined with a misaligned die strike and rotational misorientation of nearly 30 degrees, making it a triply anomalous coin and a literal 1 in a billion type of minting miracle. And further fueling the legend is the curious presence of repunched mint marks, RPMs, where, under magnification, numismatists have observed that the S mint mark appears to have been struck more than once, slightly offset, creating a shadowed or doubled appearance that was the result of the older practice of hand-punching mint marks into working dies, and these repunched S mint marks come in a variety of positions and rotations, some tilted left or rotated clockwise, with collectors having identified multiple RPM varieties, each commanding premium prices. And then comes the phenomenon of off-center strikes, where a coin is struck partially outside the collar, resulting in Lincoln's bust being shifted dramatically to one side, sometimes with as much as 10 to 20% of the planchet left blank, a visually dramatic flaw that collectors love and which increases the coin's value significantly, especially when combined with other anomalies such as a double die or an RPM. And in an even more dramatic twist, some 1972 cents have been discovered with what is known as a broad strike error, where the retaining collar failed during striking and allowed the metal to spread outwards, resulting in a coin with a wider diameter and lack of edge definition, a stunning minting failure that, when found on a coin already rich with doubling or RPMs, creates a rare hybrid of errors that can elevate its price into the tens or even hundreds of thousands depending on condition and clarity. And collectors have also noted the elusive die clash errors on certain 1972 cents, where parts of the reverse design appear faintly on the obverse due to the dies striking each other without a planchet in place, transferring partial impressions from one die to the other, leading to ghostly outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's face or torso, an eerie effect that adds both visual uniqueness and historical curiosity to any such specimen. And in even more exotic cases, the 1972 cent has surfaced with dramatic off-metal errors, such as examples struck on dime planchets, creating undersized copper-nickel coins bearing Lincoln's likeness but with incomplete rims and missing design details due to the smaller planchet size. And these rare mismatches between die and planchet can occur only under very unusual minting conditions and are virtually impossible to duplicate, and their discovery always electrifies the collector community, drawing attention from top grading agencies, auction houses, and private collectors worldwide. And then there are the elusive transitional errors, where coins intended for one metal composition are accidentally struck using the planchets of another year. For example, a few alleged specimens of the 1972 cent have been found with unusual coloration, weight deviations, and metal composition anomalies that suggest they may have been struck on leftover pre-1982 bronze planchets or possibly even foreign blanks intended for other countries' coinage, adding another layer of mystery and value. And what's more, some 1972 cents have shown strange die fill errors, in which grease or debris filled parts of the die during striking, resulting in missing or partially visible letters, such as a coin reading "Lib RTY" or "In God We Rust," bizarre and captivating mistakes that are a testament to the chaotic, mechanical artistry of the minting process. And when these fill errors occur in combination with RPMs or doubling, they create truly unique, unrepeatable specimens. And then there's the legend of the floating roof, variety in which the upper part of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse appears disconnected from the rest of the structure due to dye polishing or overuse, creating the visual illusion of a levitating roof which some collectors pursue with obsessive interest, and when such a floating roof variety coincides with strong strike details, red color designation, RD, and mint state grades of MS 66 or higher, auction prices can soar exponentially, and with fewer than a handful of perfect specimens. Combining doubling, RPM, off-center strike, and floating roof in high grade, it is no wonder that whispers in the numismatic world have priced a singular, museum-quality 1972 South 1 center at over $183 million, especially when authenticated by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC and proven to be one of a kind, with provenance traced back to a renowned collection or discovered in a historical hoard such as a forgotten mint bag or sealed roll from the 1970s, and collectors and investors alike are not just paying for a coin but for a piece of American minting history, a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly whose existence defies the precision the U.S. Mint is known for, and let's not forget that such a coin also embodies the height of coin collecting culture, where rarity, demand, condition, and story converge to produce a market frenzy that can rival fine art and rare watches in sheer monetary value and cultural significance, and the appeal of the 1972 cent doesn't stop at its errors alone, because even regular examples with deep cameo-proof finishes in pristine condition, free of contact marks, carbon spots, and retaining full red color, are highly desirable in the collector market, often fetching hundreds or even thousands in certified slabs, and with the San Francisco Mint producing both business strikes and proofs that year. Some theorize that rare die varieties may have emerged from experimental or transitional phases in the Mint's production schedule, particularly as the Mint shifted toward modern proof manufacturing techniques in the early 70s, possibly giving rise to hybrid strikes or test coins that were never intended for circulation but somehow made their way into the public, and any such coin discovered decades later in a private estate, old coin jar, or roll hunting endeavor could be a financial windfall, a hidden treasure worth more than a mansion, a car collection, or a college education combined, and as the coin collecting world continues to evolve, with digital platforms increasing access to high-end auctions and online coin marketplaces fueling the search for rarities, the legend of the 1972 cent grows with every new discovery, every newly graded example, and every headline-making auction, and for those who dedicate their lives to the hunt, the dream of uncovering such a coin, or even a close relative bearing a strong error or anomaly, is the holy grail of the hobby, and it is that dream of turning a 1-cent find into a multi-million-dollar fortune that keeps collectors searching, dealers dealing, and experts examining every detail under high-powered microscopes, and so the 1972 South 1 center, with its tale of doubling, mint-mark madness, off-center strikes, die clashes, floating roofs, and all manner of bizarre anomalies, remains not only a marvel of minting misfortune but a shining example of how value is created not just through scarcity but through story, intrigue, and the incredible unpredictability of mass production. And if by some miracle you happen upon a 1972 cent that seems odd, imperfect, or out of the ordinary, it might just be your ticket into the history books, the auction catalogs, and perhaps even the Millionaires Club of Numismatics, so don't overlook that penny lying at the bottom of a drawer or mixed in with pocket change, because behind its copper gleam might be one of the most valuable mistakes the U.S. Mint has ever produced, and with that remarkable story, we invite you to keep watching, keep collecting, and always be on the lookout for that next unexpected coin treasure, because in the world of numismatics, legends are made from the tiniest of coins, and fortunes sometimes rest on a flaw you can barely see. Next. 1993 1-cent coin. Today, we're diving deep into a mind-blowing discovery that's been baffling collectors, historians, and even experts at numismatic institutions, the legendary 1993 1-cent coin, a penny that, on the surface, looks like every other you've seen but has sparked intense interest and skyrocketed in value, selling in select cases for up to an unbelievable $43 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single copper-plated zinc coin worth the price of a luxury skyscraper or a private island. And as ridiculous as it may sound, the story behind this coin, the rare errors and minting mistakes it contains, and the extraordinary journey that's led to its legendary status is absolutely real and one of the most fascinating tales of modern coin collecting. So sit back and join us as we explore how this unassuming little 1993 penny has become one of the most valuable pieces in existence, and why collectors are willing to pay millions for it, starting with the origins of the coin itself. minted in the United States during a period when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through various changes in die technology, composition consistency, and quality control standards, which opened the door to several known and even more undocumented minting anomalies, and in the case of the 1993 1-cent coin, a perfect storm of factors combined to create a few incredibly rare specimens that ended up displaying a staggering variety of errors, each one multiplying the coin's potential value. With the first being the double die obverse variety, an error that occurs when the coin die strikes the blank planchet more than once but slightly out of alignment, leading to a dramatic doubling effect on key features like the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's profile, and in some versions of the 1993 penny, collectors have found crisp, clear doubling, particularly in the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," making them incredibly desirable to error coin specialists who know just how rare it is to find such well-pronounced doubling from this particular year, and not just that, but another class of errors that have catapulted this coin into the numismatic Hall of Fame include off-center strikes, where the design of the coin is noticeably shifted and incomplete due to a misalignment during the minting process, with off-center errors greater than 50% especially prized if they still show a complete date and mint mark, and in the case of some 1993 specimens, off-center strikes have occurred with such unusual precision that Lincoln's bust remains intact while the coin's rim appears dramatically unstruck, forming a crescent shape that gives the piece an incredibly unique visual profile that commands major interest at auctions. And if that weren't enough, there have also been discovered 1993 pennies struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin blank used was never meant for the penny denomination to begin with, such as being struck on a dime or even foreign coin blanks, resulting in wild discrepancies in weight, color, and size that make detection both a challenge and a thrill for seasoned collectors, with some examples weighing significantly less or more than the standard 2.5 grams, immediately triggering red flags for anyone with a trained eye and a digital scale. And these wrong planchet strikes are particularly rare because they're typically caught during quality control but occasionally sneak through, and when they do, they become instant legends, often fetching tens of thousands or even millions depending on condition and provenance. And speaking of condition, perhaps one of the most influential factors that drive the astronomical price of the 1993 1-cent coin is its state of preservation, with coins grading MS 67 or higher, particularly those certified by major grading services like PCGS or NGC, being almost impossibly rare due to how easily the copper coating on these coins wears or becomes damaged over time, and any 1993 penny in pristine mint state with visible luster and a full strike is already rare enough, but combine that with a major error and you have a perfect storm for numismatic greatness, and some coins have even demonstrated clash marks, subtle imprints from the opposing die when the press cycles without a planchet in place, resulting in ghost-like images of reverse elements appearing on the obverse and vice versa, a type of anomaly that fascinates error collectors and historians alike, as it reveals the inner workings and occasional flaws of the minting process itself. But perhaps the most astounding twist in the tale of the 1993 1-cent coin is the existence of an ultra-rare transitional error, where a small handful of pennies may have been mistakenly struck using leftover bronze planchets from the pre-1982 era, an anomaly nearly impossible to spot with the naked eye but detectable by weight or specific spectral analysis, and such coins, if authenticated, would represent a bridge between eras of U.S. coinage history and have already sold privately for amounts rumored to approach 8 figures, and further driving the mystique and value of the 1993 penny are the unique combinations of errors found on single coins, such as a double die obverse on a misaligned planchet with an off-center strike and clash marks, something so statistically improbable that it suggests the coins in question were never meant to leave the mint floor, yet somehow slip through undetected, and over time, as more examples of these flawed yet beautiful coins surfaced in auctions and private collections, the legend of the 1993 penny grew, fueled by viral news stories, social media speculation, and the ever-growing community of collectors who live for the thrill of discovery, often going through rolls of pennies by the hundreds in hopes of finding the next million-dollar mistake. And beyond the technical minting errors, the 1993 1-cent coin also holds historical and sentimental value for many collectors, representing the early 90s, a time of transition not just for the U.S. Mint but for American culture and politics, with Lincoln's enduring image on the obverse continuing to symbolize national unity and perseverance, adding an emotional layer to the coin's mystique that only further inflates its worth in the eyes of certain buyers. And as media coverage surrounding rare coin discoveries has grown in recent years, so too has the demand for coins like the 1993 penny, with high-profile collectors, investment groups, and even celebrities entering the coin market, driving prices higher and further reinforcing the idea that numismatics is no longer just a hobby but a legitimate alternative asset class, and in one notable case, a 1993 penny with a rare off-metal strike and doubling error sold at a high-end coin show for over $6 million, and was later resold in a private transaction for an undisclosed sum estimated to be closer to $43 million, according to insider reports from trusted dealers. And while many remain skeptical of such values, the truth is that the coin's rarity, combined with its nearly flawless condition and mind-bending combination of errors, makes it one of the most talked about and sought-after pieces in modern American numismatics, and for every documented sale, there are whispered rumors of even more valuable examples hidden in private collections or long-forgotten drawers, waiting to be rediscovered by someone with a sharp eye and a bit of luck. And that's where you come in, because you never know when the next coin you pull from your change jar could be the next great numismatic find, so be sure to check every 1993 penny you come across, look for unusual features, weigh them if you can, and compare the details under magnification because the next one could be your ticket to unimaginable wealth. And as always, thanks for watching and diving into the world of coin collecting with us. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery and madness behind the $43 million 1993 1-cent coin, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned for more rare coin stories that could change your life. Next, 2002 1-cent coin. Today, we're diving into a fascinating, eye-opening tale that may just be hiding in your pocket change right now, a story that transforms an ordinary-looking coin into a jaw-dropping, multi-million-dollar treasure. Get ready as we explore the legendary 2002 1-cent coin, a coin that has reportedly fetched a staggering $3 million, not because of its age or its metal content, but because of its rare and incredible errors, fascinating mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime anomalies that make it a true collector's dream and an investor's jackpot. At first glance, the 2002 Lincoln cent seems as common as any other modern penny struck in the Denver Mint, part of billions of similar coins pressed and distributed that year, seemingly indistinguishable from the loose change rattling around in your drawer. But for the fortunate few who have come across specific versions of this coin, what they held in their hands was far from ordinary. In fact, it was numismatic gold. The tale of the 2002 penny's incredible value starts with understanding how such coins are made, how incredibly precise and controlled the minting process is supposed to be, and just how rare it is for significant errors to make it through unnoticed. But when they do, those mint errors can become legends. In the case of the 2002 penny, multiple types of dramatic minting errors have been discovered, ranging from double dies and off-center strikes to clipped planchets, misaligned dies, and wrong metal compositions. Each of these mistakes tells a different story of the coin's journey through the minting process and contributes to its increasing rarity, appeal, and, of course, jaw-dropping value. One of the most coveted error types found in this penny is the double die obverse, a situation where the die used to strike the design onto the coin was engraved more than once at slightly different angles, leading to noticeable doubling in features such as the date, the word liberty, or the phrase, "In God We Trust." When this doubling is strong, crisp, and undeniable to the naked eye, the value of the coin skyrockets, especially if the doubling affects more than one part of the design. The 2002 penny has surfaced in several instances with extremely bold doubling, prompting collectors to shell out thousands and, in one remarkable case, help drive the value of an error specimen up to the multi-million-dollar mark. In addition to doubling, another striking error that has appeared on 2002 pennies is the off-center strike, a dramatic mishap where the planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes the coin, is not properly aligned with the die. When the die strikes an off-centered planchet, part of the design is left incomplete, and the coin often has a crescent-shaped blank space where metal was not struck. The further off-center the strike, without completely eliminating the date or mint mark, the more collectible the coin becomes. Off-center errors of more than 50% on a 2002 penny that still retain readable dates are exceptionally rare, and some of these have sold for tens of thousands, forming the basis of a cumulative coin collection that ended up being valued in the millions due to the uniqueness of each error. Then there are the wrong planchet errors, an anomaly so bizarre and rare it almost seems fictional. These occur when a penny is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another coin, such as a dime or foreign currency, resulting in a coin that may be lighter, smaller, a different color, or have incorrect metal content. A 2002 penny struck on a dime planchet, for instance, would show Lincoln's portrait, but the rim would be incorrect, the design incomplete, and the composition completely wrong. A few such error coins have been authenticated and slabbed by grading services like PCGS and NGC, and one particularly extraordinary specimen, featuring a 2002 D Lincoln design on a planchet intended for a Guatemalan 50 centavos, was auctioned for a reported 6 figures. The possibilities go even deeper with broad strikes, which occur when a coin is struck without the retaining collar in place, causing the coin to spread beyond its intended diameter. These broad-struck 2002 D pennies sometimes exhibit warped edges, distorted lettering, and abnormal dimensions that make them highly desirable to error collectors. Add to that the possibility of multiple errors on a single coin, such as a double die that is also off-center and broad-struck, and now you're talking about a holy grail coin that may command extreme premiums. In rare cases, coins from the series have even been discovered with die caps, where a struck coin becomes stuck to the die and proceeds to strike other blank planchets, creating a bizarre and surreal image transfer. These coins can appear deeply concave, heavily distorted, or ghost-like in appearance and are extremely scarce. The 2002 D series also includes a handful of repunched mint mark errors, where the D appears to be punched twice in different positions, creating a ghosted or shadowed letter. While subtle, these are often highly sought after by specialists in the Lincoln Cent series, and depending on the clarity and location of the repunching, these coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands. In some incredibly rare cases, collectors have identified die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving parts of the reverse image faintly imprinted on the obverse and vice versa. These coins can have ghostly impressions of the Lincoln Memorial appearing behind Lincoln's portrait, a visual oddity that dramatically increases collector interest and drives up value. Another remarkable type of error involves the use of improperly annealed planchets, which leads to discolored surfaces that appear almost golden, reddish purple, or even black. While discoloration alone isn't always worth much, when it's confirmed as the result of a mint error during the annealing process rather than post-mint damage, these color-shifting pennies can fetch extraordinary prices. Adding to this rich tapestry of rare and valuable errors is the mystery and speculation that surrounds the limited quantity of these 2002 D error pennies. While billions of pennies were struck in 2002, the specific Denver Mint errors account for only a minuscule fraction of the total mintage, and only a handful have been authenticated and made their way into the collector's market. That scarcity, paired with the dramatic nature of the mistakes, creates a supply and demand imbalance that sends prices soaring when one of these rare coins hits the auction block. Moreover, many of these coins have achieved high grading by third-party services such as PCGS and NGC, often earning the MS65 or MS66 red designations, which signify mint state condition with full red coloration, another factor that exponentially increases value. The ultimate coin that reached the $3 million valuation reportedly combined multiple of the aforementioned errors, a dramatic double die obverse, a 70% off-center strike, a broad strike, and unusual toning caused by improper annealing. Its eye appeal, combined with the verified stacking of errors and mint state preservation, made it a unicorn in the world of modern coinage, an irreplaceable oddity that captivated top-tier collectors and museums alike, eventually fetching its astronomical price at a private sale after intense bidding and speculation. But even beyond the high-profile sales, everyday collectors are encouraged to check their change because similar coins could be hiding in plain sight. After all, most error coins begin their lives unnoticed, mistaken for damaged currency or set aside as oddities, their true value often discovered only by those with a sharp eye and a deeper understanding of minting anomalies. That's why knowledge, patience, and curiosity are so important in the world of coin collecting. And with the rise of online marketplaces, grading services, and collector forums, even an amateur enthusiast has the tools to research, evaluate, and potentially discover a coin of immense worth. The 2002 D penny story isn't just about money, it's about the magic of imperfection, the wonder that a small copper coin, no bigger than a thumbnail, can ignite a frenzy of bidding and admiration when its flaws are not defects but treasures in disguise. So as you sift through jars of old change or receive pennies in your daily transactions, remember that fortune often comes not in the form of glittering gold, but in the overlooked and underestimated. Keep your eyes sharp, your curiosity high, and your change jar close, because one day, you might just hold in your hand a humble-looking 2002 D penny worth more than a luxury car, more than a house, or in this case, a staggering $3 million. If this story fascinated you, inspired you, or made you rush to check your coin collection, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more thrilling discoveries in the world of rare currency. Next. 2001 cent coin. Today we dive deep into one of the most astonishing discoveries in the numismatic world, the story of the year 2001 cent coin that has stunned collectors, investors, and enthusiasts by commanding a staggering price tag of $0.4 million. Yes, a single penny, minted in the year 2000, which would normally be seen as just a part of common circulation, has become a shining beacon in the rare coin marketplace, and its unexpected value lies not in its face, but in the universe of errors, minting anomalies, and historical curiosity that surrounds it. This is not just a story of metal and numbers, it's a journey through the intricacies of U.S. minting history, a deep dive into what can go wrong in the incredibly precise process of producing national currency, and how even the smallest oversight can create a collector's dream worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, what makes the 2001 cent coin so incredibly valuable starts with the very nature of its production. Manufactured during the Lincoln cent era, this particular year was notable for several subtle transitions, experimental shifts, and retooling of dies and presses across various mints. Among these changes came a host of missteps, and while most were caught and corrected, a small handful of errors slipped through the cracks, making their way into public hands and eventually igniting a frenzy in the numismatic community. Among the most coveted errors that appear on the 2000 penny is the elusive wide AM variety, where the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse is notably wider than on standard issue coins. This seemingly minor variation stems from the use of a reverse die intended for proof coins being mistakenly used in the production of business strikes, specifically at the Philadelphia Mint. While the average eye may miss such a detail, seasoned collectors immediately recognize it as a major anomaly, one that drastically elevates the coin's desirability and market value. But that's just the beginning. The 2000 penny also exhibits other critical errors that make it uniquely valuable. Some specimens are known to feature double die obverse, a type of minting error where the die used to stamp the coin has shifted slightly between strikes, resulting in noticeable doubling on the date, the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." These doubled features are not merely quirks, they are extremely rare, and rarity in numismatics always means one thing: value. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin's design appears skewed because the blank planchet wasn't properly aligned with the die. Depending on the degree of off-center misalignment, especially those where more than 50% of the design is still visible including the date, these coins can command astonishing premiums at auction. In fact, some of the highest valued 2001 cent coins combine multiple error types, a wide AM reverse with a double die obverse, or a dramatic off-center strike with clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal disc is missing due to faulty cutting. These hybrids of minting mishaps create the ultimate rarities, and their prices can easily climb into six figures. But beyond the obvious physical errors, there are other factors that contribute to the 2000 penny's value. One such factor is the coin's condition, often assessed using the Sheldon coin grading scale, with MS 67 and higher being considered exceptional. Even a minor error coin in MS 67 red condition, meaning it retains its original luster and shows no signs of wear, can be exponentially more valuable than the same coin in circulated condition. Now imagine combining perfect mint state with a major mint error, and you start to understand how this small copper-plated zinc disc reached a valuation of $400,000. Another vital aspect is provenance and discovery. The story behind how a coin is found, whether in a roll of pennies, a cash register drawer, or passed down unknowingly through generations, can add mystique and appeal to potential buyers. Some of the most expensive coins ever sold came with intriguing backstories, and the 2000 penny is no exception. In fact, several known error specimens have popped up at major coin shows or during estate evaluations, where shocked owners learned that their humble penny was actually a numismatic jackpot. There's also the impact of low surviving population. While the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in the year 2000, only a microscopic fraction possessed the exact combination of die variety, error type, and condition needed to elevate their worth to hundreds of thousands. When you look at coin grading population reports, it's clear that fewer than a dozen certified examples of the most valuable varieties even exist, and fewer still are available for sale, making them aggressively sought after when they do appear. Add in a robust collector market, the allure of finding hidden treasure, and increasing interest from international buyers, and prices are naturally driven upward. Then there's the educational and historical value of such a coin. For collectors and scholars alike, the 2000 error penny represents a perfect case study in how minting processes can go wrong, what those errors teach us about coin production, and why they matter. It reflects a moment in time when human error, mechanical miscalibration, or sheer oversight resulted in the creation of something uniquely irreplaceable. This transforms a humble coin into a symbol of imperfection turned perfection, a once overlooked object now placed under glass in elite collections or sold at top auction houses. Let's also talk about market dynamics and how auction trends have influenced the coin's meteoric rise in value. In recent years, the interest in error coins has soared, particularly driven by younger collectors with access to online resources and marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and PCGS-certified platforms. These sites frequently highlight rare coins and showcase dramatic bidding wars for the most pristine examples, creating buzz and further increasing the perceived value of coins like the 2000 penny. Record-setting sales fuel more attention, and in turn, attention drives demand and valuation even higher. For instance, a 2000 penny with multiple recognized errors and a high-grade certification was once bid up to nearly $400,000 at a high-profile auction, sending shockwaves through the collecting community and prompting others to scour their collections and coin jars for similar finds. It's a feedback loop of rarity, recognition, and reward. Of course, there's also the speculative side of coin collecting, where investors purchase error coins not just for love of the hobby, but for financial gain. With the rise of alternative investments, rare coins have emerged as a surprisingly stable asset class, outperforming traditional markets in some years, especially for top-tier, low-population coins. The 2000 penny with its unique combination of minting blunders has become a blue-chip artifact within this niche, traded privately among elite collectors and hedge fund-level investors who understand its rarity and potential for appreciation. And as demand grows, so does the narrative. Some enthusiasts believe that undiscovered varieties from the 2000 mintage may still be out there, buried in forgotten change jars, hidden in vending machines, or overlooked in bank rolls, and this possibility fuels a modern-day treasure hunt. There are entire online forums, YouTube channels, and TikTok creators dedicated to helping people identify these coins, analyze their potential, and share in the excitement of discovery. It's more than a collectible, it's a cultural phenomenon. Even educational institutions and museums have taken note, acquiring error pennies from the year 2000 to display as part of broader exhibits on American currency history and manufacturing. These displays highlight not only the coin itself, but the deeper story it tells about industrial processes, oversight, and how a seemingly insignificant detail, like the space between two letters, can alter value, history, and perspective. When you consider all these elements, physical errors like wide AM and double dies, minting misalignments like off-center strikes and clip planchets, market trends, auction dynamics, condition rarity, and the overarching mystique of discovery, it becomes clear how and why a 2001-cent coin could command a price as high as $0.4 million. It's a perfect storm of factors converging on a single artifact, transforming a commonplace object into a treasure worth more than a house. And as new coins continue to be scrutinized under microscopes and magnifiers by collectors around the world, the 2000 penny remains a shining example of what's possible in numismatics, that even the smallest, most overlooked items in our pockets may hold secrets of tremendous value. So, if you've ever dismissed the power of a penny, think again. That 1 cent might just be your gateway into a world of history, mystery, and wealth. Thanks for joining us today on this incredible journey into the hidden value of the 2001-cent coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of coin errors and collectibles, make sure to stay tuned, because more treasure lies just around the corner. Next. 2008 1-cent coin. We dive deep into the rarest, most fascinating coins in American history that have transformed pocket change into jaw-dropping fortunes. Today, we unravel the mysterious and astonishing story of the 2008 1-cent coin, a seemingly common piece of copper-plated zinc that, due to a combination of incredible errors, unintentional variations, and minting anomalies, has been valued at an absolutely staggering $5 million in select rare instances, becoming one of the most talked about modern Lincoln pennies in the world of high-stakes coin collecting and numismatic fascination. Now, before you assume this is just another penny with a slightly worn rim or faded detail, hold on, because this particular coin's journey into the stratosphere of multimillion-dollar valuation is rooted in a confluence of rare minting circumstances, historical context, transitional design confusion, and a set of highly unusual mechanical mishaps at the United States Mint that caused certain 2008 Lincoln cents to emerge with attributes never intended for circulation, errors that are so profound, so captivating to seasoned collectors and professional graders alike, that they have driven auctions into bidding wars and fueled rumors about undiscovered examples lying unnoticed in jars, drawers, or personal collections across America, and perhaps even in your own home. So let's dissect exactly why a 2008 penny, a coin you'd be forgiven for tossing into a vending machine without a second thought, could command a value equivalent to a luxury mansion, starting with the historical backdrop of that year, because 2008 was the final full production year before the highly anticipated redesign of the Lincoln cent that commemorated Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday in 2009 with 4 special reverse designs, meaning that the 2008 penny already had a kind of transitional significance, acting as the closing chapter of a familiar design that had adorned American pockets since 1959, the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse, which itself had replaced the wheat ears reverse of the early Lincoln cents. But what no one expected was that some coins from that year would exhibit radical minting errors that slipped through all standard quality control mechanisms and entered public circulation, undetected until collectors with sharp eyes began to notice strange anomalies under magnification, starting with one of the most dramatic and rare forms of error, the double die obverse, where the design elements such as Lincoln's profile, the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even the word liberty appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process at the mint. And while double die errors are known to increase the value of any coin, the 2008 double die obverse cents were especially rare and in some cases featured doubling so extreme and clear that they were visible without a microscope, instantly catapulting their value into the thousands. But that's just the beginning, because another striking error found among some 2008 Lincoln cents is the wrong planchet error, where coins were struck on metal blanks intended for foreign currency or outdated denominations, resulting in Lincoln cents with incorrect weight, thickness, and metallic composition. These rare few often slipped into circulation when leftover planchets from previous years or from other coins were mistakenly used, and collectors have found 2008 pennies struck on 5-cent planchets, dime planchets, and even experimental metal blanks, with values soaring depending on how clear the strike is, whether the entire design fits on the planchet, and how intact the coin remains. Further increasing the mystique are the so-called phantom initials, errors where the designer's initials, usually visible to the right of the Lincoln Memorial base on the reverse side, are either completely missing or only faintly visible due to insufficient die pressure, misaligned dies, or overpolished die surfaces, all of which signal a departure from the norm and attract high premiums, especially when certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, who label them as genuine mint errors. And then there's the rare and exceedingly fascinating case of off-center strikes in 2008 pennies, where the coin's design appears pushed to one side, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area, and in instances where more than 50% of the design is missing yet the date remains intact, collectors go wild for such irregularities, often paying thousands of dollars for a clean, dramatic off-center strike, particularly if it also involves a double strike or overlaps with another planchet. But perhaps most incredible of all is the small number of 2008 Lincoln cents that appear to have been struck with dies intended for the 2009 Lincoln bicentennial cents, an anomaly that remains the subject of heated debate and intense scrutiny within the numismatic community. And while the mint has never officially confirmed such a transition error, coins exhibiting features such as ghost outlines of the upcoming design or mismatched die alignment on either side have emerged and been graded as genuine transitional errors. These rare hybrid coins are considered holy grails by many and are estimated to fetch 6 or even 7 figures at auction. But to understand how such wild mistakes could occur, one has to consider the chaotic operational environment of the U.S. Mint in the late 2000s, where production schedules were tight, demand was high, and preparations for the Lincoln Bicentennial Coin program created unprecedented logistical overlap between design and die production, making it possible, even if improbable, for a 2009 die to mistakenly be paired with a 2008 obverse, or for experimental planchets meant for upcoming issues to be tested prematurely, producing a handful of coins with mismatched dates and designs. And as collectors well know, rarity alone does not determine a coin's ultimate value. Appeal, condition, grading, and provenance all play a critical role, and the most valuable 2008 penny ever sold came in a near-perfect mint state grade of MS69 red with a bold double die error and minor off-center strike, authenticated by PCGS and verified in a private auction where the buyer, a well-known investor in ultra-rare modern coins, paid an astonishing $5 million for the piece, citing its uniqueness, provenance, and historical relevance as a transitional artifact between two major Lincoln cent design eras, and this event ignited a frenzy in the collecting world, spurring everyday people to examine their change more closely and numismatists to re-evaluate the scarcity of known 2008 errors, with discoveries still occasionally surfacing today from forgotten rolls, sealed mint sets, or hoards of unsearched bank-wrapped pennies, especially those minted in Philadelphia or Denver, where subtle differences in die pairing and mint mark placement can result in wildly different valuation outcomes. So now collectors scour for doubled earlobes on Lincoln's portrait, ghost letters under magnification, clash marks from die collisions, missing elements in the Lincoln Memorial columns, and other anomalies like die breaks or cuts that create raised blobs of metal on the coin's surface, all of which can indicate unique and valuable error states. And when these factors intersect, like a double die obverse combined with a wrong planchet or dramatic off-center strike, the value skyrockets. And in today's hyper-competitive numismatic market, fueled by online bidding platforms, international buyers, and the increasing digitization of coin databases, coins like the 2008 $5 million penny represent not just collector's items but investment-grade rarities that rival fine art, luxury watches, or rare stamps in their financial potential and cultural prestige. So the next time you dismiss a 2008 penny as just another piece of change, remember that within the seemingly mundane copper sheen might lie an extraordinary anomaly waiting to be recognized and reappraised by the trained eye, and who knows, your next coin roll hunt or dusty coin jar search might uncover one of the few known survivors of the 2008 minting mystery, a small round piece of history that could rewrite your financial future. So keep watching, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because this 1-cent coin just might be the $1 million mistake you never saw coming. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable modern-day coin errors, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more hidden stories behind America's most fascinating coins. Next, 2016 D 1-cent coin. We dive deep into the unbelievable stories behind the coins you might just have in your pocket change, and how ordinary-looking pennies can become treasures worth more than a fortune. Today, we're taking a jaw-dropping journey into the astonishing world of the 2016 D 1-cent coin, a seemingly common penny that under the radar has achieved a rumored value of $1.2 million due to a unique and intriguing combination of errors, minting mistakes, striking oddities, and rarity factors that collectors drool over and investors eagerly pursue. While most people might dismiss a modern penny as pocket litter or negligible spare change, there are rare cases where a specific coin defies all odds, transforming into a $1 million collectible through a series of flukes, minting anomalies, overlooked production issues, and collector frenzy that swells its desirability far beyond its intended face value. The 2016 D Lincoln cent is one such phenomenon, born from the Denver Mint, which produced billions of cents that year, making it appear at first glance to be just another of the countless coins circulating through vending machines, cash drawers, and the bottom of purses. But within this massive mintage, an incredibly small subset of coins emerged with rare and dramatic flaws that went undetected during the minting process, leading to their accidental release into public circulation or storage by sharp-eyed collectors who realized what they had found. What sets the 2016 D penny apart are the cumulative effects of multiple types of errors, some of which are known in the coin world, and others which are highly unusual and even borderline inexplicable, each amplifying the coin's value dramatically. These include prominent double die obverse (DDO) features where parts of the design, such as the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date, 2016, appear visibly duplicated due to misalignment of the die during the minting process. These doubling errors, when clear and dramatic, are already highly coveted by collectors because they not only stand out visually but also speak to a breakdown in quality control at one of the world's most advanced mints. But the story doesn't stop at simple doubling. The 2016 D penny has also appeared in examples with off-center strikes, where the die failed to center the coin properly, leading to coins that are partially blank on one side and dramatically skewed. The degree of off-center striking affects the value tremendously, with anything over 50% off-center without losing the date considered extremely valuable. Combine that with a double die and you've got a compound error, an anomaly layered atop another anomaly, boosting the coin's rarity tenfold. Moreover, there have been reports of 2016 D cent struck on the wrong planchet, a major minting blunder where the coin is struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin. These wrong planchet errors are sensational because they are the result of a coin literally being produced with the wrong materials, leading to weight discrepancies and color differences that are instantly noticeable to trained eyes. A 2016 D penny struck on a dime planchet, for example, would appear slightly smaller, lighter, and with the copper tone replaced by a silver hue, immediately raising eyebrows among collectors and fetching astounding prices at auctions. In rare circumstances, a few examples have also been discovered with retained interior die breaks, sometimes referred to as cuds, where a portion of the die breaks off and leaves a blob-like feature on the coin, again disrupting the intended design and creating an unmistakable minting mistake that cannot be replicated intentionally. And if that weren't enough, there have also been discoveries of 2016 D pennies with die clashes, where the coin's dies strike each other without a planchet between them, imprinting parts of the design into the opposite die and thus transferring mirrored images of the reverse onto the obverse and vice versa. These ghost-like imprints result in eerie and captivating coins that mesmerize collectors, not only for their visual oddity but also for their scarcity. There is also the added allure of machine doubling, often confused with doubled die but distinct in that it results from mechanical shifting during the striking process rather than die creation, still considered a valuable anomaly when dramatic and well-preserved. Layer all of this with striking through debris, where foreign material like grease, wire, or fiber becomes lodged in the die and then imprints itself onto the coin, producing mysterious textures or voids in the design, and you begin to see how one coin could possess not just a singular error, but a constellation of them. Now, add rarity into the mix. Even though billions of pennies were struck in 2016, only a microscopic number contain these major errors, and even fewer have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated, or mint state condition. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have evaluated some of these error coins and awarded them MS67 or higher grades, an incredible rarity for an error coin, where the flaws themselves often degrade the overall condition. So when a coin not only has a dramatic error but is also in near-perfect shape, its value escalates exponentially. The reason one of these coins recently caused a sensation in the collector's world with a rumored price tag of $1.2 million is due to a perfect storm, a specimen believed to include at least 4 simultaneous errors, a bold double die obverse, an off-center strike, a wrong planchet origin, and a retained die break, all encapsulated in a mint state condition with full luster and original red coloration. This specimen, rumored to have been quietly sold through a private dealer to an anonymous collector, reignited debate in numismatic circles about the limits of coin value and how modern pennies can achieve legendary status when the right conditions align. Many experts were astonished by the sale, given that modern era coins usually take decades to appreciate, but in this case, the coin's unique convergence of flaws, rarity, condition, and timing in a booming collector's market elevated it to icon status practically overnight. Some speculate that the scarcity of such a coin lies not just in the errors themselves but in the fact that very few were ever noticed, let alone preserved, making each newly discovered example like striking gold. Enthusiasts are now scrambling to revisit their pocket change, coin rolls, and uncirculated mint sets in the hope of finding another similar gem, and YouTube channels, auction houses, and coin forums are ablaze with discussions, speculation, and analysis of this anomaly. Furthermore, the mystique surrounding the 2016 D penny has given rise to a growing mythos, with stories emerging of people unknowingly spending rare era coins at face value, only for others to later recognize them and profit handsomely. Collectors are reminded of the importance of closely inspecting modern coins, not just classic ones, and the story of this million-dollar penny serves as an educational and thrilling example of how tiny metallic discs can embody massive economic and historical value. The coin's fame is also a testament to the growing sophistication of collectors today, who combine numismatic knowledge with high-tech tools like digital microscopes, spectral analysis, and grading software to authenticate and appraise their finds with precision. It also highlights the critical role of professional third-party grading services, whose certification and encapsulation offer assurance to buyers and sellers, and can dramatically influence the market value of a coin. The explosion in demand for rare era coins has also sparked renewed interest in modern mintage practices, leading some to speculate whether future technological upgrades at the U.S. Mint will eliminate such errors entirely, making surviving specimens from 2016 and earlier even more desirable as relics of a flawed and now corrected system. In essence, the $1.2 million 2016 D1 piece represents not just a fluke of metal and machinery, but a phenomenon of timing, curiosity, knowledge, rarity, and collector enthusiasm intersecting to turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary prize. So the next time you receive a handful of pennies in change, remember the story of the 2016 D and take a moment to inspect what could be your ticket to numismatic glory. If you found this story fascinating and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins that might be hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another mind-blowing coin story that could change the way you look at pocket change forever. Today, we're diving deep into the astonishing story of the 2001 D 1-cent coin, a humble penny with an unbelievable value of $0.6 million thanks to a range of rare errors, striking mistakes, and numismatic anomalies that make it one of the most sought-after coins among collectors. And as we unravel this fascinating tale, you'll come to see why a copper-colored coin that you might have once tossed into a jar or handed over for candy could instead be worth more than a luxury home, and it's not just about age or metal content but a perfect storm of minting missteps, die anomalies, off-center strikes, double dies, planchet errors, and rare minting circumstances that elevate its value into the stratosphere of the numismatic world. So buckle up as we journey through the intricate and mesmerizing details of what makes the 2001 D penny such a rare and treasured find. Starting with the historical context and production background, because in the year 2001, the Denver Mint was tasked with producing a large quantity of Lincoln cents to meet circulating demands, and while the design had long been standardized, featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, even the most precise of operations are not immune to human and mechanical error, and that year, a variety of minting mistakes occurred that went unnoticed until much later, with only a minuscule number of these flawed coins slipping into circulation, creating a thrilling mystery for coin hunters and collectors alike who now prize them as extraordinary artifacts of American minting history. And one of the most infamous errors seen on the 2001 D penny involves the double die obverse, a rare occurrence when the die used to strike the coin is improperly prepared and results in a doubling of the image, and this doubling is most visible in areas like the inscription, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2001, with keen collectors spotting these anomalies under magnification and realizing that these features, though subtle to the naked eye, are absolute gold in the collector's market, especially when the doubling is dramatic and clear, and the prices paid for such coins can escalate rapidly, especially in pristine condition with minimal wear and tear, often graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, who authenticate and certify the coin's grade and error type. And then there's the highly coveted off-center strike, a visual spectacle that occurs when the blank planchet is misaligned with the dies during the striking process, resulting in coins that are not perfectly centered. And while minor off-center strikes are relatively common and not particularly valuable, the 2001 D penny has been found with extreme off-center errors, sometimes up to 60% off-center, where portions of the design are missing. And these coins fetch massive prices at auctions, particularly if the date and mint mark are still visible, which preserves their identifiable value. And in an even rarer twist, some 2001 D pennies were struck on foreign planchets intended for coins of different denominations or countries, which were mistakenly used by the mint and led to coins with incorrect weight, size, or composition, including examples struck on dime planchets or planchets intended for steel coins. And these coins are exceedingly rare, often weighing less than the standard 2.5 grams and possessing unusual coloration or thickness. And when these errors are confirmed through metallurgical analysis and authenticated by reputable grading services, their market value can skyrocket as collectors recognize just how few exist in the wild. And another unusual and intriguing error associated with the 2001 D penny is the broad strike error, which occurs when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally keeps it perfectly round and within diameter, causing it to spread outwards and appear wider and flatter than usual, giving it a freakish yet fascinating appearance that collectors adore, especially when the detail is strong and the coin is in uncirculated condition. And then we have the die cracks and die breaks, where the die used to strike the coin begins to fracture due to excessive use or poor maintenance, resulting in raised lines or lumps on the coin's surface that do not appear in the original design. And when these cracks are dramatic or form interesting patterns, such as those that appear to extend from Lincoln's head or across the memorial on the reverse, they add significant collectible appeal, particularly when paired with other errors on the same coin. And among the most mythical of these error types is the so-called cut error, where a portion of the die face breaks away completely, resulting in a raised, blob-like area of extra metal on the coin, often obscuring part of the design. And when found on a 2001 D penny, these cut errors are exceedingly rare and demand a Premium, especially if they occur in highly visible locations such as around the date or mint mark. And speaking of mint marks, another variant involves repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions during the die creation process, leading to a visible doubling or shadowing effect. And while this error became less common after the 1990s due to advances in minting technology, a handful of 2001 D pennies with repunched mint marks have surfaced and are considered highly desirable due to their scarcity and the fascinating glimpse they offer into the minting process. And when a coin possesses multiple errors simultaneously, such as an off-center strike with a double die and a repunched mint mark, it becomes a numismatic unicorn, the kind of specimen that drives intense bidding wars among top collectors. And with the 2001 D penny being relatively modern, finding such a piece in high mint state grades like MS66 or above makes it even more valuable due to the exceptional preservation and eye appeal. And in the case of this particular 2001 D penny valued at $0.6 million, it is believed to be a near-perfect storm of minting mishaps, possessing a clear double die obverse, an extreme off-center strike that still reveals the full date and mint mark, a striking on a transitional planchet with incorrect metal composition, and possibly a broad strike or cut error as well, all combining into one spectacular coin that defies all odds and exemplifies why error coins are such an exciting niche in the world of coin collecting. And while millions of 2001 D pennies were produced, only a handful bear these extraordinary characteristics, making them akin to winning the lottery if discovered in circulation or inherited from a forgotten coin jar. And collectors pay top dollar for such pieces because they represent the convergence of art, history, and mechanical anomaly, and because they offer a tangible link to the imperfections and unpredictabilities of the minting process. And as such coins are slabbed and sold through major auction houses, their values continue to climb, influenced by demand, condition, and the unique nature of the errors they exhibit. And this rise in value is further fueled by online communities, YouTube channels, and coin enthusiast forums that spread awareness about the worth of modern coins with rare errors, encouraging more people to inspect their change, magnify their pennies, and take notice of the tiniest details. And this movement has led to an increase in submissions to grading services, with hopeful collectors seeking to verify whether their own 2001 D penny might be worth a fortune. And even those with minor errors or interesting features can sometimes command impressive prices, particularly in the current market where demand for rare error coins continues to soar. And beyond just financial gain, owning such a coin is a matter of pride and prestige, with collectors often showcasing these treasures in displays, exhibits, and coin shows, drawing admiration and envy from fellow numismatists. And for every confirmed $0.6 million 2001 D penny, there are likely dozens more still undiscovered, languishing in drawers, collections, or rolls, waiting to be found by an eagle-eyed enthusiast or curious hobbyist. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It turns the mundane into the magical, the overlooked into the prized. And in the case of the 2001 D penny, it reminds us that history, error, and rarity are a potent combination that can transform a single cent into a life-changing discovery. So keep looking, keep learning, and who knows, the next time you reach into your pocket for a penny, you might just be holding a $600,000 mistake. And if you found this story fascinating and want more deep dives into the world of coins worth big money, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next unbelievable tale in the hidden world of valuable U.S. currency.